Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Toronto Maple Leafs fans, welcome to Sunday night edition of Game Over Toronto with your host Lauren Williamson tonight, and we have, for the first time, where it's just us together, our man Pandaki. Welcome, yay, us together. And
first time
game.
Since game one. I know, great game too.
Yeah, 40 games. It's been far too long. Far too long.
Yeah, literally half the season.
Literally half the season, exactly the halfway mark. So, welcome. I'm so excited that we're here together. Oh my gosh, it's going to be such a great stream. Welcome everybody. If it is your first time here, my name is Lauren Williamson, and we're going to talk about the Leafs game tonight. We're going to talk about the dominant 6-2 win over the Philadelphia Flyers to mark the halfway point in the season. We got our report cards for the team, cutting it up. Defense, offense, goaltending. We're going to talk about the game. We have our friend Steve Dangle in the chat. Welcome, Steve. Welcome, everybody. So, Armand.
The main chat topic right now is the hot dog guy that they kept cutting to.
Like, that's me sitting on the couch,
I know, the
stuffing
poor
my
guy
face.
probably didn't even know he was getting absolutely focused on for like half the game.
And you can tell his friends don't watch the game because one of them would have messaged him being like, buddy, with the hot dogs. Oh my gosh. What are you doing? That was me stuffing my face with like Quality Street that I got on sale last week after Christmas. Oh man. But welcome.
Good stuff.
Welcome once again to Game Over Toronto. If you're just getting here, thank you for coming out on this wonderful, wonderful, not too cold Sunday night. Before we get going on the show tonight, let's thank our sponsor for the night. Think you know what way it's going to go? Make your bet at Sports Interaction. Whether it's hockey, football, basketball, Sports Interaction has you covered. Bet pregame, live and player on one of our many prop bets. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all that sports betting has to offer. Want to bet? Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. 19 plus, please play responsibly. It was nice to see them play well tonight, wasn't it? Oh,
right. Yeah, it's great. I mean, like last game, I thought they definitely like turned a corner over their past like a bit sloppy play, when it came to the Blues and the Kraken game, and then the first period of the Red Wings game, and they just continued today. That was a dominant win straight from the get-go. The first minute, I think we could have had like 3 goals. Like it was. Yeah. There was a lot of chances to start.
I missed the first 5 minutes of the game, and I saw that the shot. I heard everybody talking about the dominant start, so I actually ended up rewinding the game and watching the start of it at the intermission. And yeah, right from the get-go, it was like, I mean, when was the last time they had a back-to-back on a Saturday, Sunday night, Armand, where they played this well,
it's
both
been a
games?
While. Yeah. And I mean, a back-to-back Saturday, Sunday night is already rare. And then for the Leafs to play well on both games against teams that are probably a little worse, that's something that doesn't happen too often. So, yeah.
Well, and
great start.
Especially because, the way the goaltending has been in the previous 5 or 6 games before that, for both of our guys to get big wins, 2 points, both of them, limit both teams to a smaller amount of shots than before, like chicken soup for Leaf Souls fans. Oh, such a good game.
It was great to see. I mean, Murray had a phenomenal game as well. Yeah, so that's a bounce back game for both Samsonov and Murray, like back to back. Yeah, just a perfect weekend to cap off the great, first half that the Leafs have played this season.
Absolutely. And like you said, turning the corner, hopefully, on that little spurt of bad play that they were playing where we were having the Mr. Hyde games, right? But tonight...
Yeah, and speaking of goaltending, Warrior Womp talked about the Marlies win tonight, and Joseph Woll, he's on a heater. If you haven't been paying attention,
57 saves.
Yeah, it was 57. It was 57 shots against in like a 4-2 win, and I think we had like 17 shots for. It was like a very Randy Carlyle game with Joseph Woll. But he's 8-0 starting the season, so our goalies are looking pretty nice. Coming into the season, I wasn't nearly as confident as I am now. So
no, I
love to see it.
And especially with Woll coming off like shoulder surgery in the off season.
Yeah.
For him to come back and just like be 8-0, like you said, it's not exactly redemption for Tuukka Rask, but maybe if Joseph Woll can become, at least a solid backup that stays in the Leaf system for a few years, Like, when was the last goalie that we had that was homegrown, that we grew, that flourished and stayed with the team longer than a couple of seasons after they came
Yeah.
up, right?
Very rare.
Yeah.
Very rare. Yeah. So, I just love to see it.
Things you love to see.
Yeah, just things you love to see. Throughout the organization, our goalies are thriving. So,
yeah. Yeah, and it's like you said, it's good to see Samsonov go and play that well last night, and Murray tonight. In the first period, I have 4 different times written Murray keeping the score 1-0.
yeah.
Because
he was really good.
He was really good. He was limiting rebounds. I noticed with Samsonov that he's sort of made a bit more of rubber than Murray is, where a lot of rebounds happen with Samsonov, whereas Murray does sort of stifle the puck a little bit more.
Yeah.
But at the end of the first, what did you think was going to happen in the game? Did you think Philly was going to come back and like tie it and have one of those games where they're changing goals? No,
I was pretty confident throughout. I felt that we controlled the pace. The only thing that really sucked was that like both of Philly's goals came, I think, 20 or 30 seconds after we scored. So it just completely took the momentum away from us, which was just like sort of annoying. But I was never not confident in winning that. I thought they controlled the game like the entire way through.
Well, and that happened the other night when the Leafs played Seattle too, right? Like when the Kraken scored 14 seconds after Tavares scored and just stabbed the Leafs tires with a big fat knife and just took the air right out of them, right? And tonight, even though they go up 2-1, they go up 2-0, and then Philly scores, they don't just cave again. They don't allow another one, which, the previous 5 or 6 games, that's what they had been doing, right? And like you said, we did sort of turn a corner this weekend, which was very nice to see, especially after how they played against Seattle. Seeing both of our goalies have that, like, again, just chicken soup, or if you're Steve Dangle, Italian wedding soup in the stomach, like.
Oh, Italian wedding. Best soup.
Is that the best soup? What do you think is the best soup?
It's my girlfriend's favorite soup, and she got really mad at me when I had a can because it was our last can. So I'm now barred from having Italian wedding soup.
Wow, that's savage. What if you bought her own cans? Like, what if you both have a stash? You know what I mean?
We should.
Like sections in the cupboard.
This is yours. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's not fair then it's not unfair because no one's stealing each other's soup.
Yeah. But honestly, especially their first goal, because that came off of the Marner giveaway, right? That was the really bad giveaway.
Konechny just Jedi mind tricked it out of the sky and was just like, I bitch you thought.
Yeah. And so that could have really, really put a knife in us, or we kind of shot ourselves in the foot with that, and that could have really screwed over the momentum. But we didn't let it affect us at all, really. And Marner, aside from that, was insanely good. All of our stars were insanely good today. Like, I did not see someone who had a bad game today. Everyone sort of just performed well, and
including our fourth line, right? Zach Aston
Reese getting the goal,
and Holmberg gets the goal last night, right? Like, is this the best that our fourth line has been producing in a couple of seasons? I think so, right? It's
nice to see the bottom 6 going.
Yeah, for sure. And we all know, if you're in the chat right now, you know that the third line has been just a machine and just churning and getting better and better working together. And it's nice to see the fourth line sort of gelling the same way and producing points in a way that we haven't really seen. And Wayne Simmons got called up tonight, which I'm sure was good for him to see. And he even had a couple good chances with a couple really good passes in the offensive zone. And I'm sure it must feel good for him to get a game. And Connor Timmins getting back in the game and getting his first NHL goal. How exciting must that have been for him? That's his 54th game in the NHL or something?
56. Oh. Yeah. Only took 56 games, but he got there. Yeah. He's had a long road and a lot of injuries in those, interspersing those 56 games. So you just love to see it. I mean, this entire weekend has been filled with milestone nights. Last game was, I think we had 4 milestone days, and so now Timmins gets his due, and just love to see it. And he's been so good for us. So good.
There was a couple people that were saying that Justin Hall should come out of the lineup so Timmins can come in. There are people saying that Morgan Riley should be taken out of the lineup and traded, and Connor Timmins is going to be taking the number 1 first line spot, right? I know,
Yeah,
guys. I know he's consistent, but let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater just yet, right? Like,
yeah, he's got 10 points in 12 games, which is insane.
that's ridiculous.
But like, would you put him in the lineup if we're fully healthy, day in day out? It's a tough answer. Like, I understand.
Because who do
I
you
fully
take
understand.
out, right?
Yeah, who do you take out? And I know most people will say Justin Hall, and understandably, but who do you have on the penalty kill? You can't just have a bunch of puck movers. You need to have a guy who's just a penalty kill specialist.
Connor Timmins is going to play 25 minutes a night, Armand. Come on,
Yeah,
be realistic.
I do, like, I still think he's a 7th D. I don't consider him like taking a spot over Sandin, Liljegren, Brody, Hall, or who else? Riley and Giordano. Giordano may be on the rest days, yeah, because he's old as hell. And
do you put
honestly,
Connor
he's been
Timmins
playing
above Jordy Ben?
Yes.
Really?
I have Connor Timmins as our 7th D. And even if like a left side D goes down, I would say move Brody to the left side and get Connor Timmins in over Jordy Ben or Victor Mete. I am really high on Connor Timmins. And like, that's such a good trade looking back at it now. Like, I like Curtis Douglas. I think he's a great player, but the value we're already getting from Connor Timmins is just, it's 100% worth it.
Connor Timmins has already done more for the Leafs than he ever did. I know you just said his name. I totally just spaced on
Curtis Douglas.
Curtis Douglas, thank you.
Yeah.
Than Curtis Douglas ever did, right? Like,
yeah, Curtis Douglas might not ever make the NHL. Like,
no, and even though he's 6'8" and we all want him to be the next Zdeno Chara, like realistically, he's old enough now where he would have shown that if he was going to be that player, and he's just not. And not to say that he can't grow and become that, but like you said, Connor Timmins is already paying dividends over whoever else we've had as the 7th D so far, even, right? Like,
yeah.
And
yeah, exactly. Like, and like, I know a lot of people were potentially likening that trade to like the Marchment trade, but it's not the same. Like, it just isn't the same.
No, you're comparing apples to watermelons, right? Like, it does not equate the same amount. And you're talking about records, and Mitch Marner tonight passes Tim Horton to take 7th place in all-time Leafs for assists at 350. So congratulations, like you said, to him, and what a way to mark the halfway point in the season. He's had a fantastic season, and I'm so glad that he's going to the All-Star game. Like,
100% deserved. Speaking of deserved All-Stars, though, do you think Kevin Hayes should be going to the All-Star game?
What? Someone has to go from every team, and I would rather have
but
Kevin
why
Hayes
did they
than
pick
Rasmus
Travis
Ristolainen.
Konechny? He's so much better than Kevin Hayes. How is Kevin Hayes going over Travis Konechny?
Why is Mitch Marner going over Austin Matthews?
Yeah, but Mitch is at least he's All-Star caliber.
No, I know. And I don't know. I don't
understand how they picked Hayes over like Konechny is having a great year. He has 21 goals, 41 points in 34 games, and he's being beaten in the All-Star game by a guy who Tort's literally healthy scratched. Like, it blows my mind. I don't understand it.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that I understand what John Tortorella's decisions are. John Tortorella made the smart decision tonight to actually bench Tony DeAngelo for all but one shift in the second period.
Oh, yeah, because of that horrible giveaway. That was what Zach Aston... like, if any NHL player was to, make a giveaway that resulted in a Leafs goal, I'd want it to be Tony DeAngelo every time. You just love to see him give it away.
Yeah.
Who likes Tony DeAngelo?
No friends of mine.
Yeah, exactly.
No friends of mine. I mean, I feel for Philly fans, right? Like, right now they're essentially thought of at the same level as basically like the Sens, the Coyotes, and Philly are sort of tiered the same level of, I feel so bad for those fans because they know nothing but pain. And like, how long has it been? Like, more than 11 years since Philly made the playoffs? Like,
oh no, I don't think it's been that long.
They said I can't remember, honestly. Maybe someone in the chat can tell us, because I know producer Rob is creeping like he always does.
No, because they made the playoffs in the bubble.
Oh, that's right. They made
Yeah,
the wild card spot, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
they made the well, and I think they got through the first round, if I'm not mistaken. I
Connor
might be
Tip
mistaken because I
Connor
know Connor Hart was like killing it
Yeah.
in that year. But I know Rasmus Ristolainen. This is his 10th year in the league, and he's never played a playoff game in his career, and it's definitely not going to happen this year either. So, I honestly I rag on Ristolainen a lot, but that's just sad. Like that's just depressing.
I can't believe they're paying him what is it like $7 million?
I know it's
like,
so bad.
like it's
5 years.
Is that contract worse than the JT Miller contract?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes. Ristolainen is like negative value in my opinion. Like he advanced stats literally has him as like one of the worst or the worst player in the league. And then if you're giving him a 5-year deal, I think it's $5 million. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's let's see.
Oh, thank you, producer Rob. The Philly Flyers made the
5.1.
playoffs in 2020 when they lost the conference semifinals. They've been in the playoffs a total of 40 times.
That's insane.
That's a lot.
That's really good. I mean, yeah.
Maybe I don't feel bad for Philly Flyers then. You guys can go with a little bit of a drought. Thank you.
Yeah, they're not at the Sabres levels yet.
No.
But like they've had a rough season. Even before the season started, I think the Flyers were definitely not considered good. But then when you think about like how many injuries they've had and the caliber of guys that they have out.
When you're not good to start with and then you get injured, it's really
bad.
bad.
It's like bad.
Yeah.
Like Couturier, I think, is missing the entire season. I think they have a few people who are missing their entire season, and they're like solid players, and they're really the only solid players that the Flyers even have.
It's too bad they don't have anybody that they can sell at the deadline because all of their players are hurt or terrible.
Yeah, like Atkinson is out. Ryan Ellis is probably never going to play in the NHL again, which just brutal luck. And then Sean Couturier is out for the what do you do? Those are like 3 of your 5 good players on the team.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Well, and like I'm just looking up, is it JVR that's on the Flyers? Is that the only
JVR.
person that anybody is like, oh, the Leafs should get him back?
JVR is like he's got a ridiculous contract for what he is. Like they're gonna have to. Yeah, I mean like not term wise anymore, but I think it's $7 million.
Oh my God, really?
Which is just a lot of money for JVR.
I'm pulling it up right now. JVR, 1 year left. Yeah, 33 years old.
$7 million, right? Yeah.
$7 million.
And I'm like, even if they retain 50%,
damn,
that's still a lot of money for JVR.
And that's only for a rental, right? You're paying that for a 33-year-old JVR rental.
And like he's a good player. I think he would elevate a team, but
sure,
it's also kind of hard to fit him under cap.
Well, I mean the Tampa Bay Lightning have proved that there's no really cap limit in the playoffs, right?
Fair.
Nikita Kucherov sitting shirtless.
You can always find
$10 million over the cap, like you
can always find a way.
Yeah,
these cap geniuses they'll make it happen.
Absolutely. Well, and we've only talked about the first period. How wild is that? Golly. Like, the Leafs PK looked really good today. The Philly fans were all over the Flyers and their power play.
Dude, they were booing them in when it was 2-1.
Yeah.
Like that
they
that
still have a chance, guys.
Yeah, I know. Like they still had a chance, and like I get it. Like I understand, but they're coming off of like a 4-game win streak. Like it's not even like this has been a really bad streak of play.
And if there's any team that's going to give up a 2-1 lead, it's the Leafs. Like,
I know.
all is not lost, guys.
I felt really bad for the players in that moment. I was like, holy shit. They're getting booed when it's a 2-1 game and it's like early on in the second. Just brutal.
Just absolutely savage. And then
I mean, yeah, that's the Philly fan base though.
Yeah.
Very passionate. Very passionate.
Absolutely. And I wonder if Wayne Simmons enjoys going back to Philly more than like other places that he's played in. Just because I think he does hold a special spot in like Flyers fans' hearts.
Oh,
now,
100%.
I'm not a Flyers fan, so I can't speak to that. So if you're a Flyers fan and you think I'm wrong, please feel free to call me out. While you're doing it in the comments, hit like and subscribe. Thanks.
Yeah, and the broadcast was saying that this might be like the last time that Simmons plays in that building. And tonight might have been a big night for Wayne, and I thought he had a great game, to be honest. I think he drew a penalty.
Yep.
Solid on the fourth line. I don't think anyone's really.
He had a couple really good passes and a couple really good hits and possessions in the ozone and everything. Like they played really well. And
Yeah,
then
he was solid on the forecheck.
absolutely. And then Liljegren, gets denied. And then on the ensuing face-off, just murders Carter Hart top shelf.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Short.
second time's the charm right there.
Yeah,
Hits the post and
absolutely.
then literally the next shot.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and isn't that his first shorthanded goal, Liljegren's? I think.
Yeah, probably. I don't think he would have another shorthanded goal. And
Yeah.
that entire like sequence was created by Marner when he like took it away from Carter Hart on the forecheck. And yeah, it was just a really well executed play. And like, I'm not gonna lie, the Flyers looked awful in that sequence.
Yeah.
Like Marner passed it up the boards to I think it was Calle Yarncroke, and 3 Flyers. He drew in 3 Flyers, and it was such an easy play for him to ring it back around to Marner, who like gets the easy one-touch pass to Liljegren, who has a prime scoring chance right in front of. I just don't understand what they were doing at all.
The Leafs were moving the puck so fast around Philly tonight. Like some of their passes in the second and third were just so crisp and just laser beams. Like the goal by which one was it? I have all of my notes written down like always. The
Tavares?
Yes. Just his positioning and like why was he allowed to just skate into the middle of the ice like that? Like if I'm a Flyers fan, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's John Tavares, even though he's only got 20 goals on the season now or 19 on the season now. That's still he's one of the best people within like 15 feet in front of the net. He's so good. So good. And he was so stoked to get that goal. Like, to put them up 5-2.
Yeah, I mean, just even the 6-2 goal. Like John Tavares, he got that pass off while like falling down. He was completely off balance. It was an insanely hard pass.
Between Sealer's legs, like
straight to Matthew's stick. It was incredible. Like
just chef's kiss. That
just an incredibly well played game from the Leafs throughout. Just perfect.
Yeah, like I can't really think of much criticism. Like even the power play was good tonight. They capitalized on it once. Like it's just been so good. And
yep. Special teams
nice.
were clicking. We got a shorty.
Yeah.
I don't think did we give up a power play goal at all? I don't think so.
No,
right?
I don't think so. And there was a lot of power plays called tonight.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
The refs were busy.
I think the first 3 penalties went against the Leafs.
Now I do have a note about something I do want to talk about. A little tiny conspiracy theory. Do you think, because they brought it up on the broadcast, do you think that Murray pushes the net off intentionally?
Okay.
Because they brought it up.
Name a better duo. No, he doesn't do it intentionally. He doesn't do it intentionally.
He did it 5 times in the Minnesota game. That might have been intentional. That might have been intentional.
Like, it's weird because, it's obviously a trend with Murray. Like, he does push the net off. It's just a matter of, like, is it intentional to stop play? Because he did it at weird times this game. Like, it was like, it wasn't an immediate scoring chance. Yeah, he just really pushes off of that inside post. And I think it's safe to say that it's a him issue and it's not a net issue anymore. I know a lot of Leaf fans were like, oh no, the Nets were bad. I think it's a Murray issue. But I don't think he does it like with intent per se. I think he's just really trying to seal that post and he just pushes way too hard.
Over enthusiastic post pushing, just like I gotta get there. That's like me when I play goalie. I have to be there. You're in my way. Oh God.
No regard for the posts.
Yeah,
just completely.
The posts don't have feelings.
We'll stop it all the time.
And after the post got in the way of Liljegren's goal the first time, I can't blame him for pushing it off, right?
Yeah. Honestly,
I for one blame the inanimate object. I don't know about you. Yeah, and even in the third period, the Leafs get a 4-on-4. He dislodged the net again on the 4-on-4.
Yeah, and then, I think he did it like 2 or 3 times this game.
Yeah,
I don't know how many times it was, but I know he was trying. He was trying to fix it himself at one point. Did you see that sequence where he like passes it off to Marner? Marner goes behind the net, and then he just turns around and starts fixing the net.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah,
you can tell he's Canadian because he's apologizing to inanimate objects for sure, right? And then Matthews gets the goal, to finish the game off and put the Buds up 6-2 with just under 7 minutes to go, and And again, just what a great night. Poppy gets his 20th goal. I thought he would be further along in the season by now.
Yeah.
I was
I think
hoping.
I was going over our because it's game 41. It's halfway through the season, so I went back to our first stream where we made all our predictions, and then Hardy's prediction I think was that Matthews would get 70. I was like, that's not happening. Sorry, buddy. There's no way.
I think I said 50, and I think I also said that Buffalo is going to make the playoffs, which they actually might. They actually
I know.
might.
That's very close.
And I said Florida was going to fall off the cliff, and I'm telling you guys, I'm going to start actually like betting on my own guesses for this stuff, because after the other night where I was like, they're gonna Poppy tied it, or Poppy got it up 5-4. He got it up to 4, and I was like, they're gonna tie it, and then they're gonna overtime, and then they're gonna lose, and that's what happened. And somehow, most of my preseason predictions were also right, which again I did not have on my bingo card, but I digress.
Unfortunately, all our preseason predictions of the Leafs winning the Atlantic or the Conference or the President's Trophy were all wrong. And
it's only game 42. It's only game 42.
I know. But Boston's so far ahead.
All it takes is Boston having like a couple of weeks of bad games. Not even like terrible games, but just like mediocre to not great games. And the Leafs are going to be right there, right?
Yeah, like we just finished game 41. We're at a 114 point pace, which is I think
bad.
1 point off of last year's literally franchise record season. The Leafs are rolling. They're good. But they're third in the league, third in the conference, and second in the Atlantic. And it's just stupid.
It's
stupid that we're third in the league, but also third in the conference.
It's almost comical. You know what I mean?
It's so ridiculous.
You couldn't make this up. It's one of those truth is stranger than fiction moments, because you literally couldn't write this. You couldn't write it to be that way.
And we're going to have to face literally the Tampa Bay Lightning again, most likely.
I would rather face Tampa than Buffalo. Which is ridiculous.
I would be scared of facing Buffalo.
Exactly.
Just because you know the storyline is there.
Yeah.
First time in I think the last time they made the playoffs was, I want to say 2011.
It's been a minute.
So that's a long time. That's 12 years.
It's a little bit, yeah.
I think Matthews was in middle school at that point. So it's pretty insane. Tage Thompson also. I would be so worried about him in a playoff series. He's so good.
Like, what Black Mirror episode are we in that Tage Thompson could get 60 and Matthews we're like, maybe he's gonna get 45.
Yeah. But honestly, it is pretty nice to see the team is rolling with Matthews not putting up, one of the best seasons in the past 20 years. It's nice to see everyone's just kind of standing on their heads.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love to see it.
And I'm actually kind of glad that Florida isn't doing as well as they thought they were going to.
Florida screwed themselves over the moment they hired Paul Maurice. Sorry, no disrespect to Paul Maurice, but why would you do that? What reason was there to trade? Oh God, I don't get it, but
I mean, yeah, I it must be hard to know that the All-Star game is coming to your city and you're probably not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's rough.
Sort of unfortunate, but like you said, and we've been advertising, it is game 41. We are at the halfway mark for the season. So, Armand, your report card. Should we start with the back end? Should we start with goaltending?
Yeah, let's start with goaltending, because I think that was the main storyline going into the season. Are we doing letter grades?
Yeah, let's do letters.
Give it a solid A. Yeah, I just think they've been incredible. They've faltered a bit here and there, but they've done more than I asked for, at the start of the season. I think most Leaf fans coming into the season were just like, give us league average, and we can make that work. Because we haven't had league average in a long time.
Yeah.
And they've been better than that. And I think they've faltered a bit. Obviously, they both got injured at the same time. So obviously, I can't give it an A+. But when they did get injured, I think Shalgren played well. I think we have the depth there, in terms of goaltending. I know in the intermission today, the panel was talking about, should the Leafs add someone in net? And I was like, who are you at? who's available. You have to consider what was available at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And who's
Like,
going to be willing to trade a plus goaltender at the deadline?
yeah. And
Right?
I'm just like looking back at the goaltender crop that we could have gotten. And now let's compare Murray and Samsonov to Campbell and to like, you know,
Mrazek.
the one guy like, yeah, Mrazek or like Ville Husso, I think was
Or
a potential.
Leafs legend Michael Hutchinson.
Don't you love to see it? But yeah, there was a very slim pickings, like Marc-Andre Fleury as well. I think Murray and Samsonov are probably two of the better goalies of the crop that were signed in the offseason. And I think they have been. And I'm just going to say, like, yeah, they've exceeded my expectations. I think they've been great.
I have them ranked. I have our goaltending ranked at a solid A minus. Not quite a full blown A, because it makes me nervous when our goaltender like struggles with games back to back and is like, I'm not playing very well right now, because I'm just like, oh gosh, Campbell 2.0, who's Mr. Beat himself up. And we love
Yeah.
Jack Campbell, right? Like,
Yeah.
he
I feel
is-
really bad
he's
for him.
still beloved amongst Leaf fans. Like, don't get us
Yeah.
wrong. But I don't think any of us are surprised that he's playing the way that he is at Edmonton. And I think that this year, how Murray and Samsonov have played, I think is how Dubas thought Mrazek and Campbell were going to be.
Yeah.
And-
The very alternating
Yeah.
back and forth. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
And I think that there were glimpses of that with Campbell, but Mrazek was just a full on, like, just an airball. He just
Yeah.
airballed that decision. And you know,
Yeah.
you're not going to be right every time, and luckily so far, even though they've both faced injuries this season, where we were, I think all of us collectively, each time they got injured, went, no, please don't do this again. But through all of that, the defense played very well. So, you know, I give our goaltending a solid A minus. I think that there's been a couple of games where they've let in just some awful goals, but any goalie gets pulled, right?
Yeah. Goalies are gonna have bad games every once in a while. The main thing that I liked about this like Murray Samsonov tandem is that I really wasn't expecting a lot. Like my expectations were low for them. You know, like I watched Samsonov a bit last year, and Caps fans like did not like the guy. Like he got a lot of flack, and then Murray, I tweeted when we got him, I didn't think we got enough of sweeteners to get Murray for the cap he has. Like I genuinely thought that was a bad trade at the time, and now I'm looking back at it, I'm like, we got sweeteners for Murray. Like we got
Yeah.
stuff for getting it. Like that's good.
What do you mean they paid us?
Yeah,
for this?
exactly. They paid us. They retained enough. Like he's playing like that. He's playing like a number one goalie. And Samson, I was playing like a 1B.
Yeah.
You know, that they're both really just exceeding my expectations completely. And so hats off to also our new goalie coach, because I know we have a new one this year, Curtis Sanford, I want to say is his name.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so we'll see how it goes and continues, because goaltending is, you know, it ebbs and flows.
It's temperamental.
Yeah, exactly. This time last year, Campbell was the godsend of our franchise, you know, going into
Mr.
January.
11 game wins, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, we'll see how it goes for the rest of the year, but so far, very impressed.
Okay. Well, moving on to the defense, we'll move slowly towards center ice. What are you giving your defense, Armand?
Okay.
I have a solid A plus, honestly.
Okay. I was gonna say A plus, and then I was like,
I have a
is
solid
that
A
too
plus.
optimistic? Because I give an A and then an A plus. Yeah, A plus. 5-on-5, they're fourth in the league in goals against, eighth in expected goals against, which speaks to our amazing goaltending as well.
Absolutely.
But to do that when we have been so injured on the back end speaks to the depth that the Leafs have had to use, and the amount of defensemen that I think we have used is like probably, I think, 11. I'm trying to think of all the guys. We have our core 6, and then you got Timmins, and then you got Jordy Ben, you got Victor Mete, you got Mac Hollowell, you got Philip Kral. Is there
11.
anyone else?
I think that's all that's played for us.
I think that's it. Yeah,
I
but
think that's
having
it.
to use 11 D-men,
Yeah.
quite a bit. And so, yeah, just to see both the advanced stats and the just straight up goals, I thought like this team is a defensive team. I'm sick and tired of like hearing people say, "Oh, this is
Swiss
a
cheese
top heavy
D.
offense team. They're bad defensively." No, they're a good defensive
They are
team.
a solid block of cheddar now, guys.
Yes,
Solid block of cheddar.
yes, 100%. Yeah, I've really liked what they've done defensively, and yeah, the fact that we're talking about, today, our seventh D man, should he be in the lineup long term, says enough. Like, we're talking about our seventh guy being good enough
Yep.
to be in the lineup every day.
And moreover, like we don't even have Muzzin now either. Right? Like last
Yeah,
when Muzzin was getting hurt in the playoffs, it just tanked us. It was essentially like driving our tank of a team over a landmine, and we just couldn't recover in any series. And to see, like you said, to see that they're able to, even when somebody goes out, even when two guys go out, even when three people go out, that we have enough confidence now because they've actually played NHL games this season, that, yeah, we probably sweat a little bit, but we're not biting our fingernails like we have been in years past, because they've already proven, at least to me so far this year, and I'm sure to you as well, that they are very competent. And these are not the 2017 we're just flying by the seat of our pants and we don't even think we're going to make the playoffs, and then they make it and they didn't think they deserved it. And
yeah,
and that was just a high flying scoring team, but the defense was terrible. And for it to now come full circle, and for the defense to be as good as it is, like you said, and for us to be saying, well, maybe we should get our seventh guy in because he's so good, is
yeah,
a testament to how well they have done and how well the trades that have worked. And finally, we've had Timothy Liljegren and Rasmus Sandin sort of waiting in the wings the last couple of seasons, and now they have full-time roles. And now Mac Hollowell becomes the guy that gets part-time assignments every now and then, right? And
yeah.
we're advancing, we're having our guys climb the ladder successfully enough, and it's paying off finally. Thank
Yeah, and
goodness.
and I really like even on the Marlies, guys like Noel Hoffenmeyer, and like the depth that we have on defense, and like Topi Niemela in the league in Liga. Like
Yeah.
there's some solid defensive prospects in there still.
Yep.
And that's speaking on top of Sandine and Liljegren, and it's just a good pipeline. I think top to bottom, this team has a pretty solid defensive core. Yeah, love to see it.
Love to see it. Things we love to see. So let's finish out talking about the forwards. How do you think our boys in blue are doing this year in
This is the
offensive statistics?
lowest grade I have.
Same.
I have them at a B, just a straight B. We're 10th in goals for 5-on-5, ninth in expected goals for. We're shooting a little below, what we are expected in terms of chances. I think there's total is about -4 goals for above expected. So our finishing talent isn't particularly there. But with that being said, I think we've been doing better as of late, especially with the bottom six. I think the bottom six really struggled at the get-go, and we still had that hole in the top six left wing, like the Tavares line left wing. And I think Yarncroke has made a name for himself there. I think that I was reading something. He's had like 14 points in his last 13 games,
Yeah.
slotting in there, and he struggled to produce, starting the season on, like, I think it was the third line. So this could change in the future, but game 41 right now, I think the first half of the season offense was the key improvement that we needed to make, and specifically that left wing spot.
I have them. I actually have our forwards also at a solid B. I think that there has been lots of games where they have shown that they can play very well. We've had games that in previous years were like, well, why can't they have these blowout games where they just absolutely crush teams that we want them to? In this season, they've had at least 2 or 3 of those where it's like, this is what we've been wanting. This is what we've been asking for. Because in years past, they just fold over teams that they should be beating. And it's still happened a couple of times this year where we've lost to teams that we probably on paper should have beat. But they're just not losing them the same way. And I do find it like maybe mildly concerning that Matthews doesn't have at least just a couple more goals, but he's still producing at a ridiculous pace. And he's just playing differently. He's playing more defensively, so he's getting more assists this year, which is fine. And all it really takes to all of a sudden be on a, like a projected 56 point pace or 56 goal pace is, you have a couple of games where you score 2 goals. And we've seen that Matthews is very capable of scoring multi-goal games, right? And so I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that there's going to be a stretch where Matthews does go on a scoring heater. And it has been nice to see other guys go on scoring heaters too, right? Like for William Nylander to be leading the team in goals is great for him, and it's great for the team's confidence, and it's great that his hard work is paying off. And it's so funny. I love watching Nylander play now more than ever because there's so many times where he just looks so aloof and like he's just not paying attention. But then like the play happens and it's like he was already in the right position. So I think sometimes that he plays the game very far in advance, which is fine. And sometimes he gets burned for it in all due respect. But at the same time, like his ability to finish this year, which has been a struggle in years past, he seems to be turning a corner on that, right? And, even Pierre Engvall is putting more pucks in the net this year. And Kerfoot is making an argument for himself to have a big contract raise at the end of this year, too. So I think the secondary scoring has been improved, but there is a part of me that's worried about, our top guys scoring, but that's just, they're not even not scoring. It's
just because they were so good last year.
Spoiled,
like we're talking about a 60 goal season. Yeah. So like, I do agree. But like, the emergence of guys like Holmberg, I think really elevated the bottom six this year. Especially from the start of the season, guys like Ob Kubel, after he got waived, I think, it took a while for them to get going, the bottom six, but now, like, if we're talking the past 20 games, I think I would have rated the offense higher. But the first 20 games of the season, the bottom six really just couldn't get going. So,
we don't know. I mean, how much of that was just the new chemistry of the new guys coming in, right? Like,
exactly.
Our bottom six changed so much.
Yeah. And you also have to consider that like part of our bottom six is forwards that are committed to defense, which we gave an A+. They're like, that's them as well. Like David Kampf is not brought onto this team to score goals.
No.
He's there to be a good defensive forward, which
he has been.
We're giving him credit. Yeah, exactly. Like, so, I really like the way this team is constructed, and really the only hole I see in it, the only hole I currently see is that top 6 left wing spot, and Yarncroke could be the solution there. I don't think he necessarily is long term, so that might be like the trade deadline acquisition, where if we're gonna spend, that's what I'm looking for. That like mid range second line winger. I
think so too.
To play on Tavares's wing, like. And that's really it. Like, I just really like the way this team is constructed. They have it in them. They
just need to believe, man.
I know. I'm fully on the train. Like, they have it in them to win a cup. They have it in them to win let's start with the playoff series first. But like, I'm fully on the train.
I believe. I'm on the hype train. Let's go.
Yeah.
Ever since Andrew did my interview, and I'm sure he asked you the same question where he was like, what are you going to do when the Leafs lose again in the first round? Ever since he said that, it's like this dark, like Super Mario Brothers cloud with the guy throwing the spikes at you.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I swear, if we have to do game over for another first round loss.
I know. I had that interview as well, like before we lost to Tampa. So our last loss would have been the Canadians.
Yeah.
So he was just joking about that, and I was like, God damn it, Edge.
Just savage. Just absolutely savage. God bless him. It's a good thing he's so wonderful.
I know.
But yeah, so on average, it's like a solid A-, B+ rating across the team for the mid-season report cards, which is better than we would have said last year, right? Like last year, we were way more concerned about goaltending. Campbell was doing great, but Mrazek was like, oh my gosh,
Mrazek was
what
awful.
are we gonna do?
If Campbell got injured, we were pretty screwed
Oh,
at that
we
time
were
because we didn't.
toasted.
Yeah, we didn't know anything about Källgren either at that point. Like, we were sort of in limbo, and Hutchinson was the third guy up. So yeah.
Although playoff round winner Michael Hutchinson, let's not forget he did win the round
let's not
for the
forget.
Avs, right? And should we answer a couple questions before we end the
Yeah,
stream?
let's go.
Here? Let's see. He's made his impact. Guys, get your questions in quick before we finish it up. There was somebody that was asking our trade deadline acquisition guesses.
Oh, jeez. That is a very good question.
Lawson
That
Cross
would
from the
need me
Phoenix
to do.
Coyotes. That was what I said. That was what I said a couple streams ago. So I got to stick with what I said. I don't think we need to trade for a defenseman at this point. I don't
think so either. I think Timmins was that trade.
Yep. And I don't think now, I mean, we haven't had Joseph Lowe play up in the NHL this season, but I don't think we're going to be trading for a goaltender either. Really? Like,
I don't think so.
There hasn't been any terrible red flags where it's so concerned that we're going to trade one of the guys that we traded for this offseason. So I think you're right, in a second left winger is where we're going to go. It's just a matter of who. Murray or Samsonov in round one? Ooh. I go Murray.
Murray to start.
Murray. I agree. He's won 2 cups, guys. He's won 2 cups.
Game 1, you start Murray just from the playoff experience.
Yeah. And they, inevitably there will be some, maybe they'll try and screw us over and do a back-to-back in the playoffs this year just to
God, I hope not. They did that. Did they do that last year? I think they did.
I think so.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah.
Why would you
and
ever
in
do
that situation, then I think you start you start Sammy on the first night and then you give Murray the second night.
Ooh, interesting.
I think
I would agree with that.
I don't think you would do the Babcock. You got to go for the 2 points to start. Yeah. Who has the swag?
Oh, I have a question from Mika. My question is, how many likes will it take to have Lauren do a cat show and tell?
That's cheating. Do you know why that's cheating? Because Mika is my wife. So hang on, let me find a cat. I don't know where they are.
Perfect.
Napping. Oh, there's one. Hang on.
Bring her out.
Come here, child.
This
cheating,
is how.
but it works. So I have 2 cats. They just had dinner before we started streaming. So this tiny little creature is Cholula, named after the hot sauce.
It's a great name,
right?
I think we said it before. Great name,
because she looks like Minerva McGonagall when she changes into a cat. So yeah, that's Cholula, and then the other. I'll have to do a different showing another time of the big orange boy, but he wasn't feeling well before the stream tonight, so I didn't really want to pick him up.
Before the tech issues, we had a bit of a cat issue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What a way to start.
I know, right? It's great. Yeah. Love it.
Absolutely. Well, I think we should probably wrap this up. What do you think, Armand?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's getting pretty late for a Sunday. If you are in the chat, thank you for spending your Sunday evening with us after the Leafs game. We appreciate it. We love doing this. I don't know. I'm sort of speaking if you hear Armand. Sorry, buddy. But like... when I started doing these streams, I jokingly said, well, I'm going to watch the game anyway, so I might as well tell other people my opinion about it. And it turns out that it's not entirely awful. And it's nice to have everybody in the chat and talk to other Leaf fans and get to know everybody and you, Armand, like, this is the first stream that we've done in 40 games together.
I know.
And it's
wild.
been great. It's been great. You with your nice haircut from a couple weeks ago.
Courtesy of Harnish, yeah. Well, we'll do it. We'll do another one soon.
Absolutely. So I think when is the next game? Is it Tuesday?
No,
against
Tuesday.
Wednesday against the Preds. So I will actually be back that night. So before we head off, please make sure you hit like and subscribe if you like the stream. Share any comments if you have any feedback for us or any questions for the next stream. I am Lauren. You can find me on Twitter at LaurenIn6.
And I'm Armand. You can find me on Twitter at ArmandPunthiki.
And so for Game Over and for STPN, thank you for tuning in tonight, and we will see you guys Wednesday. Take care, everybody.
Game over! Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.